was going, dude, those are low.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm wondering if, it's just your newness to this style of program, and it might be something like that might be causing it.
Yeah, and it like you said, like that 20-minute effort, I could do it on a bike on the road a lot easier than in a trainer and watching a screen and trying to, looking at numbers. It doesn't mean anything to me. So maybe that's part of it. And, you keep, I'm going to fat shame you. You are at least 20 pounds heavier than I am.
No, I am.
So then your wattage is going to be higher and everything.
It is. Yeah,
and my position on the bike, this is where I've come to the conclusion. My position on the bike is quite a bit lower than the average person.
Mm-hmm.
And that, a certain speed out in reality, I don't have to do as many watts. And that's always been my advantage. Maybe I don't push big watts, and everybody has to push big watts to match my effort, bigger watts than me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was one of my.
For example, I don't know if you remember what your FTP was.
Yeah.
Do you remember?
Yeah.
Mine's 329.
Oh my
way down.
God, is it really?
Yeah.
Wow. Nice.
That was in March. That was in March or April of last year. So I'm assuming it got higher as the year progressed. But I'm also a 200 plus pound man. I just said that on the air, and I'm so embarrassed. So that's going to be a factor, and things like that. So my 20-minute FTP is 329. I just told that to all the listeners in the world, and they're going to go, "Why are you so fucking slow then?" And then I've got the other numbers here. My 5 minutes 393, my 1 minute 499, my NM, which is a super fast sprint, is 1132. And when I saw your numbers, I was going, "Wait, that's
what's
low
your
for
NM?
Paul." 1132.
Yeah, see, and I'm 961.
Yeah, that's bullshit. Because I've never beaten you in a sprint, and I know you're pushing. I know you can sprint over 1,000 watts.
Yeah. And maybe it's because I'm in a stationary bike that my riding. Who knows?
Comfort.
There's too many variables in bike riding.
Yeah.
My FTP is 229.
Yeah.
See, what I'm surprised by is that because I would consider you more as a, like, when it said attacker, that's one thing I was really surprised about too, because that's what you and I are the qualified technically is the exact same type of rider,
Mm-hmm.
and I would please correct me if I'm wrong, but I would consider you more of a kind of a like a diesel engine. You can just kind of roll that same power for a while, because I have always tried to consider myself as more of an explosive type of rider in those like hilly sections, because like when I see that mine is even higher than that too, I was surprised by that.
Yeah.
Because mine is 268, which is not that high.
Slowest guy in the room has the highest FTP. Slowest fucking guy in the room has the
Well,
highest
I mean,
FTP.
there might be something. It might be something
Well,
too.
it's body mass too.
You
I'm
put
a
more
big
time
dude.
on a trainer, though.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's the thing is if we were in a study where to me is I probably could do. I'm sure my numbers. Well, everybody's numbers are different on the road.
All things being equal, kind of a thing. Yeah.
Same conditions and everything. The numbers are going to change drastically.
Yeah.
So
You said it best, though. It's like you are in such a low position that aerodynamically you're going to probably be going faster than everybody else on a lower amount of power.
Yeah. And I've done, this is kind of one of those things where I'm thinking, piddling around going, I'm not really tired. So I was looking at my heart rate in the different positions when I'm upright. And obviously, if you're spinning, the heart rate goes up.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be at like 100 RPMs and I can see it jump. I still can't get at 100 RPMs my heart rate. There's not enough resistance for me to get that. So I think the test.
I've been on the bike
bad.
where the resistance is so bad that I have to stop pedaling.
Well, this is in erg mode.
Yeah.
So
that's what I'm saying.
When I'm doing it, I'm following it, and it's adjusting to my workout.
Yeah.
So when it says, maintain, you're climbing up. So I'm doing it. I can spin like.
It's not upping you to 400 or 500 watts.
No, because it's erg mode. It keeps me. It
Yeah.
I can spin as fast as I want. It's going to keep that resistance down to whatever wattage.
You need another
for.
test, I think. I think your test gave you low numbers.
Yeah.
That's what I'm guessing.
Yep.
That's what I'm rolling with because it just.
And I'll do
does
it.
seem
But
low.
maybe I'll give myself a month on this.
We'll talk about this here
stuff.
in a minute.
All right. All right.
So, cha-ching. Should we check out things with headlines? Yeah, we should probably check things with headlines. I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it.
You're going to say it.
Panda Watch! Fuck. I can't resist. It's too perfect. Let's check the news. Close but no hour, you guys. Alex Dowsett has some time to digest Wednesday's UCI hour record attempt. Looking back with a cool head, he has no regrets on his ride. And he shouldn't. And he says, and I quote, by the way, this is our friends at Cycling News, I'm confident that he didn't say it that way. I'm confident that was everything I had, and that was the important thing. He said in the latest video diary on his popular YouTube channel, he says, I'm happy with that. For 54.555 kilometers is the third biggest distance in the modern history of the hour record, so that's nothing to be ashamed of, I don't think. His distance in the Aguas Calientes velodrome in Mexico, it's hot water, in case you're wanting the translation, fell 534 meters, just over 2 laps short of the current record set by Victor Campenaerts in the same location 2.5 years ago. He surpassed Bradley Wiggins' effort that took the record away from him back in 2015, but fell short of the British record sent by Dan Bigham. So I guess, I just, I don't know if you guys were following it. I wasn't able to watch it live, but I was able to, I actually stayed away from social media because I wanted to watch it live. And of course, the first thing I found out on social media when I turned on my phone, it was actually one of those drop down menus that said, Alex Dowsett
falls short.
Yeah. And I was like, fuck. There a lot of discussion about the fact that his not achieving the record was not better, not worse, but almost as it brought a lot more public attention than if he would have broken the record. A lot of people have been talking about the cause he chose to do it for, the fact that, the effort, I'm not trying not to put an after-school specials type of a spin to this, but there was a lot of positive talk about who he is, what he was doing it for, and his efforts as they were. So I don't know if you guys had any initial thoughts on that and his effort out there and how he did.
Yeah, I can't imagine having to do that type of an effort for an hour. That sounds horrendous, but I think it's great that he did it.
That's a preview of coming attractions.
Oh, shit. But I will say something that did come to my mind. You know who I think should do it now?
Who?
Is, he'd probably rip it apart.
Ashton?
You know who did and won better.
Yeah.
So I think that could be I think he could do it. But back to Alex, I think it's great because I've seen a lot of things about him, like social media wise, in terms of like nobody really cares if he beat it or not. Like if he beat it, really, because I'm seeing a lot of like congratulations to this guy, what a great guy. He's like I've seen it everywhere. I'm still seeing it. I saw it today.
Yeah,
like he's getting a lot of social media attention just for this, and Israel Startup Nation, got a Lachlan Morton on their hands.
They kind of. You're right. That's what a marketing tool. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was a good effort. I mean, we always focus on always getting the win, but that is a tough mark to break. Yeah. And kudos for him to going out there and it's still the third best. Yeah. I mean, he's on the podium. If you look at it that way, when it comes to our record. But, I mean, he didn't do it at sea level like the British record is at sea level. And he raised money that's close to his heart for hemophiliac. Yeah. And he passed that on to his daughter. So.
Oh wow. Yeah. And it's funny, Jackson, you touched on it because I was going to ask if we're on the wave of a new bout, a bunch of people attempting it, and who could we see attempting and succeeding? And you immediately wanted to go straight to Ashton Lambie. Filippo Ganna, these guys, and will Campenaerts probably do it again? I'm sure he will. Yeah, he's now Lotto Soudal. Oh, probably be good for the team since Quebeca, Next Hash, whatever is tits up, aren't they? I mean, are they done for? Or
I think they're still. I don't. There's another deadline. They didn't get the first deadline, but whatever.
That poor team.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah.
It is interesting though, because I feel like more and more we're seeing a lot of attention turn to track. I feel like, especially we're seeing a lot of like not only high profile track riders but also high profile road riders switching disciplines and like really doing well with it. Yeah. I mean, Ashton Lambie is predominantly, I would say, more.
He's a tracky. Yeah.
But like Filippo Ganna, for instance, Elia Viviani, like those type of riders, we're starting to see a lot more attention turned to that, which I think also creates a full year of cycling that's not road cyclocross road or road cyclocross mountain bike road. Like we're seeing all of the different disciplines, and I think this Champions League of track will really create that hype around it as well.
It's a long time overdue. Trackies are probably, just from what you just said, going, finally, God. I mean, I wish I understood the decline of it. I mean, because it's
there's less tracks.
User friendly. That's true. Yeah.
And that's the problem. They're talking about eliminating. They were cutting back all for the Olympics. They're cutting back different events. And the reason for that is because there's very few nations that actually have a track to train. You know, even continents. Maybe there is one in Africa, or, you know, like maybe Australia has a couple or something. We don't have. Well, Alpine Rose is gone in Portland. Yeah.
We got Jerry Baker.
Yeah.
What about the one in Seattle?
Marymore.
Yeah,
that's it. Yeah.
An outdoor track in a rainy Seattle.
400 meter.
Yeah, which is
big track.
Yeah, that's massive.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not even what today's standards.
Yeah, well, I was just looking at when they were saying that Dowsett's distance was 534 meters, and it said just over 2 laps. I went, oh, shit.
Yeah, this is standard.
See, I grew up racing on Marymore, which is now Jerry Baker. But, 534. I'm like, that's just over a lap.
I'm surprised he didn't do it at the Geraint Thomas one in Wales. Being British.
I think he was going for elevation.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, which is just, well. Yeah. Next story. This one's for Nightwing. 3-time world champion Peter Sagan has said he has new motivation for the season ahead, insisting he is, quote, still young, unquote, and still has a point to prove. Slovakian will turn 32 in January, which a point he will be riding for Total Energy. And what is a major career move this winter? Those words are Cycling News necessarily, but not mine. He's leaving Bora Hansgrohe after 5 years for what he describes as, quote, adventure, end quote, at the 2nd Division French squad, but his ambition still burns bright. As he said, I want to show some things still. Season is that's it. That, you know, I'm sure he gave it kind of a wink or something like that. Yeah. Last season he won 5 races, include the stage to the Giro, where he also collected the points jersey. And this was despite his coronavirus diagnosis, delayed the start of his season, and a knee injury, which forced him to abandon the Tour on stage 3. Total Energy, meanwhile, just recorded 6 wins this year and none at the World Tour level. So, my first question, 32 is not old. 32 is pretty okay still for a bike racer. Can we all agree on that one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I don't know. Now the standards are, I'm sure the average for wins, the age is dropped.
Yeah, I'm sure it has. Yeah. That's a great point. Yeah. Was thoughts on I don't want to say this as it's intended, because some might say he never left it, but thoughts on Peter and a potential return to the top. Should I let Jackson take that one first? Probably let Jackson take that one first.
I think it's possible. I think there is. I saw a Velo News headline today on Instagram that was talking about how he thinks that it's like a new beginning for him. You know, when he left Tinkoff and he went to Bora, how it was like this new beginning. He won all these world champions. He was winning all these races. I think it could be one of those, but in a different type of pattern for him. I don't know. I don't know if he's gonna win. If he's gonna win a bunch of races, but I think with a team that's dedicated to him, because if we're being honest here, Total Energies is Peter Sagan. Like, that's his team now.
Yeah. Kind of like Bora was when he switched over.
Exactly. And so I think he has more of a chance of bringing, like, for instance, a green jersey to that team now, or like maybe another Paris-Roubaix to that team now, rather than I think they did before. Because I think they were focusing. I found as time went on, Bora went, oh, we have Buchmann, we have these riders that can win us maybe a Grand Tour, and so they focused more on that rather than they did winning the jersey. As we saw over the past 2 years, they didn't really care about it anymore.
Yeah.
And I also think he is the perfect rider to kick the shit out of some gravel races.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think he is that. I mean, if you think about it, in my mind, a gravel race is kind of just like a long classic, depending on the distance.
Sure.
So, and I think that he could be...
Not Milan-San Remo. It is Milan-San Remo.
Yeah. But like, I feel like he could be a really good rider for that, and I would be interested to see if he shows a face at Unbound this year. That could be a big one, because Unbound, if you think about it, probably the biggest gravel race in the world right now.
Yeah.
And I would be interested to see if he'd be there.
Wow. Mm-hmm. I guess we started with the Peter Sagan expert. Mm-hmm. You got anything to kind of ditto or dovetail off of that one, Paul?
Well, there's Total had Nicky Terpstra after he won Flanders. Yeah. He went over there, and the next year he had a shit year. He crashed, and I think he broke his collarbone. He was unconscious in Flanders. In fact, he went down early. So, yeah, he's never came to the top. I think sometimes, even though you're a star rider, I have to question whether he's got everything that he needs there, like from Bora, a world-class team, a world tour team. And so, yeah, I don't know if they have what he needs to get there. Yeah. But maybe. I mean, I don't think he asked for much either as a rider. But it'll be interesting to see. There's a lot of people who I can understand his thinking about. He's recharged his mind, his battery. He's got, of course, Sepp Van Marke.
Oh,
he likes going to teams where they struggle. I mean, he's just notorious to do that, because it's like it gives, for some reason in his psyche, it's like, I'm going to fight. I'll do this myself, as opposed to being pampered. So maybe that's kind of on that same mindset that
Peter does.
Peter might say, I get to run my own show, and
he's got a couple of his teammates coming with him.
Yeah.
Daniel Oss being one, and Daniel Oss
his brother.
Is hard
his
man.
Brother going?
I don't.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Did he? Is he?
Yeah, he's going. Michael Bodnar's going, or Mikhail Bodnar.
Yeah.
He's got his own entourage coming with him.
Oh, good. Yeah. I think the guy's got some fire in his belly left too. So I'm hoping the best. He's a fun guy. He makes bike racing fun. He talked about the concepts of some things that were lost in bike racing this year, and it's almost he's kind of the guy who feeds off of that audience and that crowd, and that was missing this year. So I mean, I come on back, Pete. We need you, man. The sport needs you. Story number 3, and it's funny you should have mentioned this, Jackson, because I'm going to kind of dovetail off of that. Remco rides the waffle. Remco Evenepoel finished in the top 10 in his debut gravel race in the Belgian Waffle Ride in Kansas on this last Sunday. 21-year-old took the medium distance 111-kilometer route and completed it in 4 hours and 3 minutes, placing 7th, just over an hour down on the winner, Scott Jackson. Evenepoel's teammate Mattia Cataneo also raced and finished in 9th place, a couple of minutes in arrears. Organized offers 3 different distances during the 4th and final Belgian Waffle Ride of the season that kicked off in Lawrence, Kansas. American Tanner Ward was the first finisher in the mains men race that was run over 111 miles or 178 kilometers. Oops. Camera switch there, and included 8,000 feet of elevation gain and traversed throughout the northeast region of Kansas. Australia's Tiffany Cromwell from Canyon SRAM won the women's race. They both, so anyway, so Evenepoel competed in the 69-mile distance, which featured 3,600 feet of elevation gain, and the WANA. There's the Waffle, the Wana, and the Wafer. He did the Wafer, and then the Wana is 33 miles. Am I the only one surprised that he did the shorter distance? And I don't want to bust anybody's balls, but I'm going to.
I think this was a stupid publicity stunt.
Fuck yes.
Because everybody's like, even Belgian Waffle themselves, I'm not calling them out. I mean, we did their race. I loved it. But
yeah,
they were posting about these World Tour pros are coming and racing our race. And it was so dumb because, like, I was gearing up to be like, oh, Remco Evenepoel wins the main, like, the long-distance event of the Belgian Waffle Ride, Kansas. But instead it was, he kind of went out there, he rode a little bit. He probably rode it not even close to threshold, which is probably threshold for everybody else.
Beyond, yeah.
Yeah. But it's like, I don't know. This just seems dumb. I'm seeing them go to the Oakley factory. Like, this is just kind of a vacation for them if you really think about it.
69 fucking miles.
Yeah. You're a World Tour pro.
Yeah.
One of the best in the world.
Yeah, you have to wonder the intent of choosing what he did. And,
yeah.
You know, if it's just to get a little experience of riding, getting some bike handling skills.
We all know his gravel skills are a little amiss.
Yeah, and so that could be some of it, yeah. And the least amount of miles he could ride, the chances of crashing on it, you know, have decreased too. So,
is it too soon to say no bridges? Sorry, I had
his lung might tell you otherwise.
His lung might tell me it's too soon to mention no bridge. To be honest, I was like, really? He did 69 miles. That 100. What is the full length? 111 miles. That's a cakewalk for a guy like Remco.
Shorter than a World Tour stage.
But you know, I understand he's at the tail end of his year. He probably did it as a specialized sponsorship track, and you know, and going to Oakley and things like that. And you know, I just.
Did he go to Pizza Hut?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I want to know who to give shit about this for, though. I want to know who to go, hey, you fucking lied to us. I don't want to blame the promoters because the promoters are just trying to get people to come to the race. I don't want to blame his sponsors because, you know, who should I be upset at?
I think the team.
Really?
Just screw them, you know?
Yeah.
I'm blaming disc brakes.
Yeah, okay. I'll blame Patrick Lefevre because
he's easy target.
He's a Facebook friend of mine. He'll probably never come on anyway. So there we go. How many pros do you think seeing starting major races in 2022? And Jackson, you brought this up earlier. You know, are we especially now that the UCI is embracing gravel? Are we on the verge of seeing, especially in our U.S. events, like Unbound, like some of these Belgian Waffle events, a big influx of European pros?
Yeah, I think it's gonna happen. But I think it's interesting how the UCI has technically created their own gravel series. But does anybody in this room know who won the first one?
There was one?
Yeah, it was 35 riders. It was in Italy.
35 riders.
Yeah, there was Philippe, what's his name?
Somebody
he's a
from
classic.
Cinch?
No. He was a classic. He won Milan San Remo. Filippo Pozzato was the promoter. So,
but nobody knows who won, and that means I think it's kind of dumb. Because I think there's such a hype and a popularity around Unbound or around the American gravel races. Nobody in this room knows who won the European ones or the UCI ones. And so I think, however, this is where my point goes, that I think that that a lot of teams are looking at Trek Segafredo, Movistar, Alpecin Fenix. They're all looking at these different riders who got a lot of screen time, whether it be on the horrible Flow Bikes coverage or the Pure Gravel Instagram story. It doesn't matter. That jersey was right there, and millions of people watched that. I don't know if it's millions, but still, it's like these things are so big on sponsors and social media, and all. There are so many people watching these things that I could see it. I could see it really taking off this year. I don't know what it is, but I feel like this year a lot of these World Tour pros might go, oh, we should probably show up to this. I could see a Remco actually showing up and trying at a Unbound.
Peter Stetina has got to be like, motherfucker, I had this. This was my
great
thing.
Gig until
Yeah, Lawrence Tendam, son of a bitch.
Yeah, he had a good year too.
Yeah,
well, as long I think no harm is done if there's no appearance fee. When they start paying out appearance fees for these guys,
they will.
Mm-hmm. And if they do, that's going to change the face of gravel. It doesn't matter where they're in Europe or here or whatever. I think that's going to be the killer, not so much pros racing the race, because that attitude they still have to turn the styles and do the race, right?
Sure.
But there isn't any bonus. Mm-hmm. There isn't a really rich pot compared to like European racing. So it's all shits and giggles right now. But if they start doing that, I think the attitude, you're going to start seeing, why would a good amateur, like, even, Peter Stetina doesn't get an appearance when these Europeans is like, well, screw you, I'm not doing your race, that type of thing. Why are you paying this guy? And then it gets out of control.
I mean, Canyon's probably making sure Peter goes.
Oh yeah.
It's all sponsorship
as a part of his salary.
Yeah.
Just as it would be with Ian Boswell and Wahoo.
Mm-hmm. But how long is that going to last? I mean, when you got guys that are showing up doing the 60-mile thing, making more money and a better lifestyle.
Shit.
That's where the poison is in the well.
I will say one thing that's really fascinating about this side of the sport is that we saw it last year. Matteo Jorgensen showed up. What's his name? Quinn Simmons showed up. All of these like world tour, like high level world tour pros showed up to these races. Not a single one of them made the top 5, not even the top 7, which is so crazy because like that quote unquote founding fathers of like
they're hauling ass.
Yeah. They're the ones that are still there. So part of me wonders if these privateers, these people who are focusing so heavily on the sport, are the ones that are really going to excel. I mean, we saw it with when Sagan did the Olympic mountain bike race. Yeah. Whether mechanical or not, like he still got flats. That was still his fault in essence, especially in an off-road race. Like you see these road pros trying to switch over, and it's not the same. Like they might have these amazing FTPs, but still, it's a different side of the sport.
But we all still. I tuned in specifically. Now I was going to watch the Olympic mountain bike race anyway, but I wanted to see how he did.
Yeah,
and
me too.
That's where this whole thing's going to happen, and
But that's a small slice of that pie. Mm-hmm. I mean, roadies to watch. I'm not interested, although I am. I'll look at the numbers, but I wouldn't watch it on TV. That doesn't interest me. Whoever
or mountain bike.
Yeah, both of those.
Really?
I mean, gravel. I mean, what's exciting about that?
I think you would like gravel.
I watched quite. There's a guy who does
just because
Unbound.
It's very similar.
And he does I can't
view.
remember the name of the production, but he's done several Unbound, like promotionally. He interviews people, and he actually does the race, and he does footage and stuff. I mean, on a documentary. But the tactics on gravel and what I've seen, the little that I have seen, it's pretty attrition type thing.
It is,
and that's the same thing that comes to. Like me watching a long stage, a flat stage in the Tour, it's just
sure. I see what you're saying.
It is, and that's why it'll be a hard to sell on TV. I mean, because those things are 8 hours long?
Yeah,
10 hours long. It's like how do you? It has to be done to get interest in the documentary type style in order to hook people.
I will say you can argue the same thing, and I'm not attacking any side of the sport. I love it here, but you could say the same thing about road cycling as well.
Yeah.
How long is Milan-San Remo? Jesus Christ, that's a long race.
It just recently they've shown the whole thing from start to finish. We used to only get the last hour and a half for years and years and years, and even in Europe, because that same reason.
Yeah, it's just.
But
I think with gravel, what I think is interesting is the surfaces. Is the surface type that could make it exciting. Sure. Because at any moment, you can just like in a Paris-Roubaix this year, you never know when somebody's going to have a mechanical. That's kind of the same with gravel. I saw this year's Paris-Roubaix as more of a race of attrition rather than a race of tactics.
And how many European races, I don't mean to go too far down the rabbit hole of gravel, but how many European races could already classify as a gravel race?
Well, Trobro, Leon. Yeah, that's
already
pretty much is. Yeah.
And always has been.
Paris-Roubaix, in essence, because of the amount of sectors and the amount of the percentage of the amount of race.
Well, when you, for me, like a gravel race is when majority of it is on gravel. Paris-Roubaix, there's only 52 kilometers are on, out of 250, 52 kilometers are on pave. Yeah. So the thrill for me, what I see between those two is speed. Watching somebody, now we know if those guys are doing 23 on the gravel, that's fast, but it's not exciting to watch as opposed to guys that are on the edge going over the Arnberg Forest at 37 miles an hour, and that is where that adrenaline starts kicking in. And I would rather watch, and I could care less, but I'd rather watch downhill mountain biking than cross country because of that same, because I'm a speed junkie, I guess. And when they're tiptoeing through rock gardens, like, oh jeez. Who cares? All you're doing is you want somebody to crash to have some kind of action, where they're picking the line. Nah, that's not for me.
That's so interesting because it's interesting to hear what people prefer to watch in the sport because I watched the entirety of the Olympic mountain bike race, the whole thing, from start to finish. I never skipped at anything because I thought it was so fascinating to watch riders.
You apparently watch more than Matthew Van Der Poel.
Yeah,
I think all three of us did.
The rep is gone.
But I just think it's interesting. And another thought that came to my mind is how would we be looking at gravel racing if it had a crowd? If there were Arnberg Forest
sectors.
Yeah. What would we be comparing these at equal levels?
But then you're going to run into the curse of the loop.
Yeah.
Which is what mountain bike racing, cross country has been cursed by. It used to be a large, you'd see them at the start, you'd see them maybe once in between, and then you'd see them at the end. That is not spectator friendly. Gravel racing, it's 100 and some mile loop. How many times
in the middle of nowhere?
How many times at Belgian Waffle, California, could our family members have seen us?
I mean, ultimately,
once.
My thought is though, what's the difference with road racing though? You know what I mean? Like people stop, they drive, they go. Stop, they drive, they go.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
They stop to watch. Like ultimately, like Mom, for instance, could have driven to any one of the sectors and seen us.
That's a great point. That's a great point. Sorry. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, and they do that, but to further, there has to be a section, and I know that Unbound has one that's really shale sharp areas, but it's out in the middle of nowhere. And Paris-Roubaix, and even Flanders, when you go there, in Flanders, it's the cobble climbs. There's people along the roadside. Yeah.
Is
they step out
in the middle of nowhere though?
No, there's a small little town, but that again, a lot of people do the cobble hop. They'll watch that, hop in their car, and
that's what Jackson
because it goes. But those sectors, there's roads in between, and you're going to particular sectors. Gravel is just a long stretch of gravel rolling hills. So how do you determine that? Selected all those cobblestones and all the cobble climbs in the classics. And if you look even like Milan San Remo, it's the Poggio and all the climbs, that's where the masses are. And so when you have gravel, it's cornfields and
I think
dirt.
there's a match here though. I think it's funny listening to the two of you guys because there is a match. Because I'm just thinking of some of the specific gravel races I've done where there are epic sections, there are epic sectors, and there are roads to get to it because there's an aid station that people drove to and they can't drive on the course or something like that. So maybe there is a
that's
fine
where
fine
the
mix
promoter
between
has
the two.
to push those points.
Exactly.
You've got to get really good at course design,
and that's part of promoting. You show that. Like, this is the hill, this is the climb, this is the dirt, this is what makes it unique, and then you will have that draw.
And that's that's what immediately made me think about. There could be, and I think Belgian Waffle did this really well. When we did it this year, they made a video series of how to handle the sector.
Sure.
Where there was a previous rider who had won the race, went to each sector and said, this is the line you should pick. This is what you should do. I think if Unbound were to do something like that, that could bring spectators to a specific area, you know?
Yeah.
Because, like, in Belgian Waffle, they call it the
Belgian Waffle names them, too.
Exactly.
All the sections.
And that's a really good idea because it would bring much more of a spectatorship to something like
Lemon
that.
von Twistenberg is kind of a dorky name, but it has a name, and they gave you the map is over there on the beer fridge, of the sectors that you can go through, and that's a draw, and those goofy little names. I remember, like, oh God, I'm on
whatever that mountain was.
Yeah. Fucking hell.
Yeah, right.
But yeah. So, I think there's something, and it's obviously a product, or the UCI wouldn't give a shit.
Yeah, well, and obviously there is money in it, but I think to get people to view, I think the other thing too, when you talk in America, the only people that watch a bike race is family members. In Europe, it's in their lifeline. Yeah, and so that until.
And America's only going to watch a race that we can. It's exciting.
Yeah.
It gives instant gratification.
Because
you
ever watched American football? It's play, stop, and it just is always continuously going quick.
Yeah.
I heard. Speaking of that,
it's play, stop, stand around.
Yeah.
Well,
and then play, stop, stand.
So I heard it was interesting. They compared pro football to pro basketball and the amount of time that they play.
Oh,
that a pro football player in the whole season. Actually is in play less than one basketball game, one player in basketball running in movement, in motion.
It's harder, bro.
Yeah. 6 seconds, 1 minute break, 6 seconds. And the average play is like 5 to 6 seconds.
Don't get me started on baseball. Ta-da!
That's a great one.
Yeah, topic for everybody brought to you by our friends at Athletic Brewing Company. Go to packfiller.com. Click on the Athletic link. Do it now. The new flavors are coming out constantly. I just ordered 12 new Oregon Idaho 7 Wet Hop IPA. That's a big name, but it sounds delicious. They also have a new dark malt, as well as a good old-fashioned Athletic Light, which I ordered for my wife because she wants red beers. And the Athletic Light is 25 calories a can. And I guarantee it's going to taste better than that other whatever Michelob Ultra shit. Athletic Brewing, try some today. I want to talk about winter training, gentlemen. How are we going to approach this? How are you guys going to ensure I don't gain 20 pounds and end up right back where I started last year? In case you guys didn't know, podcasting is all about the host, and I want it to be about me. So I'm going to pose you guys some questions, and I'm going to pose you guys the proposal that I kind of sent to you, and then I want to see where you go. So when to start? Now, there was always the philosophy. Jackson started the show off saying he's been taking a break. I have also been taking a break. You have not at all. Now January or never stop in the first place. I mean, I remember I keep remembering Greg LeMond's book, where he always started January 1st. That was when his official training kicked off. Is that a myth anymore, or do we have a specific targeted start date? Does anybody think about that?
See, cycling is an interesting sport because you got to take into consideration age, genetics,
sure,
like your physiological, like a lot of physiological changes that have happened over the years. Like, and I'm not trying to bring this back to shame anybody here, but like, for instance, how we talk about how I can get fit like that, like genuinely very.
Who are you shaming, Jackson? I don't know.
But like genuinely, because of the age that I am, I have that ability to just like bounce back
sure
a lot quicker than somebody of, I'm not calling you old, but of different ages.
Ride that train as long as you can, dude. Seriously.
I am. But it's really interesting because now I think January 1st, I could start January 1st and be ready for February races. But But could people of like a different body type or like, let's say, different
age? You can say age. Yeah. It's okay.
No, I know. I'm just saying like I'm just trying to like add the variations. Like somebody of just maybe who was born a second later could have something different than I do.
Mm-hmm.
It's really interesting to think about that when training as well.
I'm starting. Actually, it's kind of funny. I'm going to try, because this week for me in work is a little bit tailored off, even though it's the week before I produce a show. I'm going to do that 1 week ramp test for the prep for the ramp test. My goal is to do it this weekend. I want to get going. I'm ready to get going. I was okay with taking time off. I was okay with saying, okay, 4 or 5, whatever, 6 weeks. It's kind of nice. I've been paying attention. I love all this technology. I've been paying attention to my Whoop because I've been looking at it going, I'm still hitting 12, 13, sometimes 15, 16 days just at work. Mm-hmm. And okay, so I'm not slacking. I'm not sitting on the couch all day. I'm not doing cycling specific work, but I'm still getting stuff done. And I'm still, I took a walk with Michelle on Sunday, and and I'm getting out and I'm doing stuff. I'm not just, I'm not a slacker, but I'm ready to start because I want 2022 to be a lot bigger. So I'm ready to start sooner, I think.
Well, I think getting back to starting in January, when he wrote that book, he was still racing.
Sure.
Yeah, and so and even the pros, they work themselves into shape racing. For amateurs and even in this area, racing actually starts in March. Mm-hmm. And it used to, you'd have to go down to Banana Belt, which was just outside of Portland, to catch a couple of early races.
We got to go to Jack's house.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was about it. There wasn't anything in March when I started. And then the launch was the first weekend in April, which was Volunteer Park Crit in Seattle. So, but
God, I remember that.
Yeah. And so, that if you start in January now, and then for me and my age, I started going through the Washington State Bicycle Association calendar. There's not much on there right now, but May is packed.
May is.
Yeah. Oh, and then there's nothing.
Okay, now we know.
Well, we got ready. Turn to Bloom. That's the first part.
That's also
2 weeks later.
It's also the month I'm putting on a 24-hour race.
Well, Paul and I'll be there.
Yeah. Fuck. RC3 here in town.
Yeah.
An Omnium race.
Ready
That's
for that
2
one.
weeks after Tour de Bloom.
Yep.
Drink.
Oh, drink.
And then 2 weeks after that is Walla Walla stage race.
Jesus.
So, and then it falls off.
And I'd like to make a proposal. I would like for you guys to experience what I experienced last summer. I think we should go up or go down to Portland to experience those Mount Tabor circuit races.
I don't know why this is my new thing tonight. I agree. I agree very much. I think that would be fun. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
I think it'd be really interesting, not to get too far in the weeds here, but just to experience a different city that surrounds itself with cycling.
Yeah.
To experience that racing atmosphere.
Up against them. Maybe a bike town. Ooh, I haven't done one of those since COVID.
Yeah.
Hey, you got an ex-local.
Yeah. Miansky always said he'd be on the show, too.
Oh, yeah,
on that show, so that'd be a good one. So talk to me about your plans for the winter. Weaknesses, how do you work on them, strength training, off the bike workouts, and more importantly, to coach or not to coach. I'm teasing that because I've got a confirmation. I've got a confirmation from Chris Carmichael and he's going to come on the show in a couple of weeks, and we're going to talk about the what coaching entails these days and the need for it. And maybe we're all living a lie and we need to probably pick up a coach. But so where are you guys on that? And what are your individual objectives for the off season? Jackson, I don't know if you're going to you've talked about Zwift, that you're more into that type of a thing. What other areas are you going to work on in terms of your weaknesses or strengths and things like that?
Yeah. So, I think this year, the system, Wahoo system, is not out of my realm at all. I think that they've got a really special area in terms of like a weight training, but it's not really like heavy, like you're going into the gym, you're hitting like you're hitting the racks, which I really appreciate, especially for a cyclist. And I can't speak for you two, but I find that as a cyclist myself, going into a gym and comparing myself is difficult and daunting you
can out leg press all those fucking guys, I tell you.
Yeah. But the upper body strength is just nowhere to be found. And I think that's something I would like to work on this year, because I would like to have more strength. I'd like to not have my back hurt or my neck hurt halfway through a ride, stuff like that. So just strength training is something I'm really interested in. And I don't know, I'd like to be able to stick with David when he looks at me and he says 300, we're doing 350, like a steady 350 going up Ballychapel. Like, I'd like to be able to stay there and not have to worry about, oh, he weighs 10 pounds less than I do. So I'd like to be able to sustain those type of numbers this year. Okay. And I don't know if that'll happen over the winter.
Paul, what's your approach?
Well, I think I mentioned it earlier. I'll use system. And try and dial that part in. You know, a little bit of guidance. As in a personal coach, I'm not that serious. You know, I mean, I like to race. If I was younger and I had, you know, tons of money, but now with the price of bicycles right now, who can afford a coach?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's one of those things where I know the reality slapped me in the face. I was, you know, getting down like, this getting older is terrible, and I'm getting dropped, you know, when I shouldn't. I have no recovery, and then, like I mentioned about 2 weeks ago, when I averaged one ride a week, it's okay, that's easy to fix. I mean, it's just a matter of doing intervals. It's easy to overdo it on intervals. So and just use maybe that structure where, like today, I rode that recharge from what's the name of the
System?
Yeah, and
Sufferfest.
Sufferfest.
Yeah.
It's one of theirs. And you know, it's not a hard one. It's just stair steps up and goes down. Then you have like 3 jumps towards the end, it was easy.
We shouldn't have told Paul about the problem in his system, because he would have kept doing these workouts at such a low number, and I'd have kicked his ass in the spring. But now I'm fucked, because he's going to figure out the big numbers.
I know there's something wrong, and that's I was going to get to the bottom of it, because if I'm going to spend a half hour on my bike and get like one bead of sweat off, then there's something wrong.
You should be walking off not like feeling happy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, I'll just do this and retest, I don't know, in about maybe next month.
Yeah.
You know,
there you go.
Or maybe towards the end of the... But, I think as you get older, you really don't recover. And I've read so many things, and even Ned Over, and who you've interviewed before.
Yes.
Yeah. But, and I raced against it, the Gorge Roubaix.
Yeah.
Well, I started with him, and, you know...
Ned just...
Yeah. He was 62, 63 at the time, and he got third place, but he got DQ'd because on the descent down this windy road, he crossed the yellow line. So, yeah. Tough. But, yeah, against 1s, 2s.
Yeah. Jesus. So. I'm going to start as soon as possible. COVID was almost, for me, a blessing in terms of training. I had time. I'm not saying COVID was good. I'm saying COVID offered me more time. Yeah, in terms of scheduling, and so this year's going to be a lot more different. With I just saw the feedback of Paul pointing at the camera, like, "Take me out the camera."
Kid, I
don't like.
I have a booger I gotta get. Thank you.
So I've got to figure out a way to do it, because this year was really beneficial, and I think I found a window. So I'm going to be doing that. I'm going to be doing, obviously, through the system. And this is not a paid endorsement. I just want everybody to know that Wahoo's not paying us to talk about this platform.
But if they want to buy product,
they want to,
they can go through the website.
Let's go through the website. Yeah, that's the only thing.
Yeah,
I was just friends with. Oh, yeah. I was friends with Dave and Sufferfest for a long time, and I believe in the product. I think it's cool. Yeah. You know, it's like Joe Rogan pushing Invermectin. This is my Invermectin. Sorry, I had to make a political joke, but I'm also gonna do. I'm gonna do the goddamn yoga. I've got to figure out how to keep up with the yoga.
And I have been doing that. I've done about 5 sessions on that. And if you want core strength, there is a couple of things.
I got to do a lot of core strength. A
lot
of core strength.
That.
Darebe is another resource that I've told people about many times. DAREBEE.com. It has daily workouts, daily kind of creative ones that are little to no weights. It's all load bearing, personal body weight. Great workouts, brilliant stuff, and they do full individual ones of the day, or they do 10, 12-week programs that you can do, and all specific strengths. It's really good stuff. So there we go. I also think that motivation is the key. Motivation is so important to it. And so my little brain kicks in things at odd hours of the night. And sometimes I'll just sit down and I'll just start typing something out. And I was thinking about methods in which to keep us and to keep you, the listener, motivated throughout the year or ongoing or whatever we might want to do. And I came up with this silly little idea that I want to pitch to you guys. And I want to pitch to you guys sitting at home or office or wherever you might be with this, what I'm calling the Packfiller Ambassador. I fucked up the own name. Packfiller Ambassador Certification Challenge. How cool does that sound? I gotta, wait, what's a good, dramatic music. No, that's too dramatic. The Packfiller Ambassador Certification Challenge. So basically the concept of this is, and it came up, it kind of popped into my head a while ago about ways to obviously promote the show, but obviously to get people motivated to be a part of the group even more. Yes, we had the membership program last year, which was a success, and everything worked really well. And I'm not saying like Donald Trump; it was huge, but what's that?
I was saying it always comes back around.
Yeah, exactly. But I want people to also participate and play along with us in a lot of different cycling-based challenges to promote the efforts along with the show in the process. So should I start with just simply the rules and then go to the challenges? Because I wrote this all up,
Looks official.
I wrote it all up. It looks cool. Yeah, exactly.
It's got the official stamp.
It does. Yeah. It does. Copy and paste is a powerful tool. Mm-hmm. Each of the challenges must be completed within a 10-month period from the date of the starting. Okay? 10 months.
That's a while.
Okay, and you can do this anytime. It doesn't have to start today. It can start anytime. It's an ongoing challenge. You must provide proper proof that you've completed a step in the challenge. Each challenge has an individual method of proof, subject by the clarification of obviously us here at the show. Participants must be safe, respectful, and definitely not overly serious about these challenges. I want everybody to relax and have fun. I don't want people to be douchebags flying down hills because Strava told me to, or something like that. They must be completed in order to be able to classify for ambassadorship. And I'm going to talk about ambassadorship. That word is kicked around a lot here these days, but I want to kind of throw it out there in terms.
Sam started it, though.
Yeah, you're right. Ambassador cycling, yeah. Participants must promote the show via social media using a bunch of hashtags or something like that. I want everybody to be involved, and I want to get everybody excited about it. Okay, so here we go. The reward will be an official ambassador status, which includes a full Packfiller Ambassador Cycling Kit, jersey, gloves, socks, stickers, and I haven't received permission from Gooder yet, but I hope they'll get involved. $150 value there. Special one-time and ongoing sponsorship discounts, and an ambassador discount at Packfiller events, because we've got one, for example, the upcoming 24-hour race. So here are the challenges, and I want your guys, I'm going to list the challenges. There are obviously 10 intended to be either completed, in a weekend if you're a lunatic, or one every 10 months, or one every month for 10 months, whatever you want to do. And then if you keep track of it, do them in order, you've got it. Can't take over 10 months, though. Come on, one challenge a month. Okay. Now, I guess I'm going to go with, should I just ask you guys for thumbs up on the individual challenges and then a yes or no on the whole thing as a unit? I don't know. How should we do this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes to what you were saying.
Yes. Okay. First challenge. And in fact, I think my objective is to have the three of us, you're okay on this first one, do this starting in November. That's okay. my dream. Okay. First challenge is the Wahoo 4DP test. The full frontal, not the full frontal. Yeah, the full frontal. Yeah. That's what it's called. If you are not a Wahoo system member, you don't have to be. You can do a free 1-week trial, complete the test, save your results. You're done. You don't have to pay him another penny. Okay? You have to provide a screenshot of the final test required.
So we can laugh?
Yeah.
Like they do at mine?
No, we didn't laugh at yours. Yours is wrong. Yours is incorrect. But okay, so that's the first challenge. You got to do that. Let's say the three of us, you've already done it. We do it in November. Second one, the 1 hour record time trial. Ride as hard as you can for 1 hour. Record the distance, submit it to Packfiller, posting on a 1 hour record results page, which means we will have an ongoing page where everybody can have the results posted saying what they did 1 hour. You can do it on your bike, on the road. You can do it on a mountain bike. You can do it on your trainer, anything like that. And we will post those records. It'll be an ongoing top 10 list on the website forever. Okay, that's the first two. Third one, the Beverage 4 Mile Challenge.
He doesn't like that. No.
Let me finish. Any 12-ounce beverage of your choice, because I want people to drink responsibly, over 4 miles. One beverage, quote unquote, before each mile. Record your time to be posted on the Packfiller leaderboard. This, if you're using alcoholic beverages, this needs to be done on a stationary bike. Okay, so we're gonna our equivalent of a beer mile. It could be ciders, it could be athletic brewing, it could be whatever you want.
Okay,
but I think it'd be fun with beer.
I'm doing it with milk.
Milk. Oh,
milk was a bad
choice. There's the movie. Yeah, that's the movie on the deserted island. Yeah. Challenge number 4: the 100. Ride 100 miles in 1 day. Record and send the Strava link. Now, if we were doing this in every month, have you guys been paying attention to number 4?
Would that be?
That would be
February.
In February.
That's the worst month of the year.
February. Yeah. Next one, number 5. It's a month off after the 100. The Flying Mile. 100-mile rolling time trial must be on flat terrain with a net zero gain or loss. It's got to be 0. So if it's downhill, it's got to have an uphill. So you equal to 0 elevation gain. Record and send the Strava link. That's number 5.
Just 1 mile?
1 mile.
Okay.
Flying 1 mile. You can roll into it as fast as you want. You can do it with friends. You can do it with teammates. You can do whatever you want. Number 6. This one's going to sound familiar. 500-foot speed climb. Climb 500 feet as quickly as possible. Number 7. The Overnighter Challenge. I'm looking at Paul on this one.
That's not going to happen.
Hold on. Let me finish, though. The Overnighter Challenge. Ride somewhere, spend the night, ride back. Camping not required, but encouraged. Hotel, motel is also accepted. You must submit when you complete this challenge what I call pics and paragraph, which means you will take a couple photographs. You will talk about a small 2 to 3 sentence response about what you did.
What's the distance on each day? Doesn't matter.
I don't care. You can ride across the street, stand in your neighbor's house, and ride back if you want.
Yeah.
Be a funny story.
Yeah, it would.
Yeah.
Oh,
I got an idea now.
We all have a little spend the night here at the studio. I'd have the longest ride, though.
You would. That's true. That's true. Number 8. I'm on number 8, right? 1 week without. Log an entire 7-day week without the use of a car, excluding work if necessary. If you drive a car for work, you may drive a car, but you must make an attempt to go 7 days without the use of a car.
Easy.
Yeah. Strava pics in a paragraph will be included for that one. Number 9, the It's Not About Me challenge. You must either donate $50 or 5 hours of your personal time to a bike-related charity. It could be volunteering for a race. It could be helping kids find helmets. It could be donating $50 to a parks foundation, whatever you want. That's number 9. And finally, number 10, the return of the Mini Everest. 2,900 feet in 1 day as quickly as possible.
Roger is not welcome.
Yeah, I was about to say, we're going to take it easy on this one.
I am the only one beer left. You guys are sucking empty. So, 10 challenges may be completed as quickly as you want, or 1 a month for 10 months. The return on the investment is you have sent us all this material that we will use to promote the show because it's fun, because we want to create this culture of bike racers who are all having a great time, or bike riders who are all having a great time and doing these insane things. But it also builds us as a community together. Hey, I've done it. Hey, you see somebody with the jersey out there, they've got the ambassador kit or something like that. Man, you did it all right. Or you encourage other people to do it. I'm doing it in the realm of, and in the same vein of what Sufferfest did with Knighthood. I thought it was a really cool challenge. I thought it was a great thing to do. But this also gets people who are out there promoting the podcast who I know have bought in. They've invested. And I'm willing to shell out the money for the kit for people to do that. My questions for you two, the panel, is this a stupid fucking idea? And if it is, I understand. Is this motivation enough? Are we all in, or are we all out? Or should we tweak it? Should we throw it away? What do you guys think of the concept as a whole?
I think it's great because it creates a community, especially something that is really big.
Be honest. Tell me I'm full of shit if I'm full of shit.
No, what I'm saying is I think it's really important, and we've kind of talked about this, but like creating a community within not only whether it be across the country or just in our own local area, seeing people with the Packfiller on is kind of cool. And I think something like this helps create that, because whether it be Packfiller or what, but as long as somebody's waving to you on their bike, I think if we create a culture, like create an even bigger culture like that, because we already have it here, but I think anything contributing to that is a big success.
Yeah, I mean, these are, if people like it, it's for giggles and to get people out. I think it's a good thing.
Would you pick harder challenges?
No, because the thing is, you make it harder than a lot of people. Like, I don't want
100 miles in a day is not an easy challenge for the average cyclist.
That's true.
Yeah,
but I mean, of course, when you say that, I think of Justin Short. It's like,
he'll do the whole fucking thing in a week.
Yeah.
So, he'll make a joke out of it.
Yeah, he will.
But
and write a song for it.
Yeah, and I'm 1,000% fine with a guy like Justin walking around in an ambassador kit. Yeah, maybe the first ambassador kit.
So I mean, I look at it as it's not motivating for me, because my motivation is completely different. As I've mentioned many times before, it's about racing my bike. But
sure,
but that stuff is always fun.
But what if I said I was going to beat your ass in the 1 hour TT?
Yeah,
you won't.
It's not.
I won't.
You don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know.
Yeah,
I could stop because the GoPro flies off the handlebar.
Next thing you know, your socks are full of thistles.
Yeah.
Are you guys willing to say that starting in November we try for one a month and just tell people about the experience of doing one a month? Are you guys willing to commit to the next 10 months of challenges?
Hell yeah, each month, barring February, has 29 days for me to procrastinate, because that's how I am.
Yeah. February's the 100-miler. You'd have to do.
I would say I would flip February and the running, because I just don't see because our Februarys have been crap.
All right, so I flip Flying Mile and the 100.
Do they have to be in order?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
So I mean, our
100 miles in February.
I wouldn't mind if it was like the old Februarys, but we get more snow now in February than we ever have before.
I'm saying it would probably have to be done indoors.
Yeah, I don't know how would I do that?
As the only person in the room that's done it, it sucks.
It's brutal. Yeah.
Yeah. How would I
I'm not trying to make this easy,
because I'm not going on Zwift. I'm not going to pay for Zwift for that.
Well, there is a thing called the Knighthood that gets you over that.
Yeah. Or you could. There are open rides on system that you could just do them.
You can
and ride at whatever pace you want.
You could probably just download a workout, right? It doesn't have to be through system, where you can just ride.
Yeah, open rides. Yeah, it's open free choice, and you could do a 1 hour, 1 hour, 1 hour, 1 hour, and just keep doing them back and back until you hit 100 miles. Just saying.
Just saying. 100 miles indoors,
All right, I will keep numbers 4 and 5. I'm going to post all this to the website for
see
our
what the feedback is.
Yeah, I'm going to see what the feedback is. And by the way, eventually I'm going to take your feedback and tell you to shut the fuck up because we can only do this for so long. We can only just take feedback for so long. And eventually I'm going to have to say, this is the 10, this is the order, this is when we're going to do it. Now, it would send us to the mini Everest in like September. Which would be nice.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Early September would be fun.
Yeah. And the overnight in like June.
See, June is a testy month here in Spokane, Washington.
I don't want these to be easy.
True.
So, okay, those are the 10.
I've got my overnight easy.
Do you?
Yeah,
it's right here.
I figured out.
You're coming. We're gonna just camp out in my backyard.
We all got a barbecue. You get your pool set up.
That'd be pretty fucking funny, actually. If we just went out and did a huge ride, stayed here,
go
and
around
then did
Manitou
a huge
Park.
ride again, and then stay back.
No, just go around.
I'm talking about a big ride. You know.
Oh, all right.
Like,
who the hell's sleeping on the bar? That's my question.
Or
the console.
I can't. We can call it the bar. I'm changing this room to look like a fucking pub, so we can call it a bar.
If you technically sleep in my old room, then it's not in your own bed.
It's not there. Loopholes. Mm-hmm. Loopholes. Okay, so those are the 10 challenges. And I think we just create an online group of everybody playing along with us. And, you know, if somebody doesn't, if a lot of people don't, fuck it. We do it anyway, and we have something fun every month for the next 10 months. People can join in. I'll send them a sticker if they do one challenge, I guess. I don't know. I'm not, you know, you have to pay for postage, so fuck.
It's a great motivating factor, and I think that's a really big thing, especially in a time of the year when, you know, there is none.
Yeah, and that's what I'm striving for here. That's what it's all about.
How beautiful.
The more you know. Oh my God! Did we reach the end of the show? We reached the end of another show. Oh, Whoop just told me to start getting ready for bed. Oh. It's by 8:53. I have to get ready for bed.
Mine told me 3 hours ago.
Time are you getting up? 2?
You know.
Yeah.
When my cat wants me up.
Hey, speaking of which, Whoop is not a sponsor, so I can honestly say this. Hey, send me your fucking straps that we bought. How many weeks ago? I'm pissed at Whoop. I am pissed at Whoop. I know they could potentially be a sponsor one day, but I know that shipping problems have hit them. But you and I both upgraded. How long ago did you upgrade? 2 months?
September?
3 months?
September.
So 2 months.
Yeah, in around then.
And we paid for this and this upgraded strap. And you only get the upgraded strap if you pay for an extension. We paid for the extension. We don't have the strap. So we're paying for the same service we paid to extend the same service we've always had.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really. I think there should be something. I think there should be a little repercussion. I think Whoop should throw us a little love. Sorry.
I just listened to another podcast that's out of Tacoma. Mm-hmm. These two other guys have been doing it for a while.
Yeah.
And one of them has had problems with the Whoop because he's got small wrists and his heart rates are like all over the place. And so their answer was
strap.
And that's what it's just for some reason it doesn't work. And so they're suggesting putting it around his bicep.
Yeah, they have straps.
Why
would
bicep. You do that? Why do you want?
You look like a douche.
Yeah, and then because that is a muscle that you're always flexing, so then it's cut off.
Well, it flexes,
how
bro.
In his situation, I was sitting there thinking it just doesn't work. Just
no.
Yeah.
Switch to the ring one.
If you can't get it. Well, he's supposed to get an upgrade band. They think it's supposed to help.
Yeah, that's what the deal is. And I know they've hit shipping woes, and obviously because of the world is in a gigantic difficulty with that right now, and I understand that. But I also think they should probably say, hey, we understand this is going on. Here's 2 months free or whatever. I just
send out an email apologizing
for the delay.
Yeah.
Keep communication going. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's been pretty minuscule, though. Wouldn't you agree? I don't want to bash a company because I want them all to succeed, but fucking come on.
That's not a bash.
Yeah. No. Fucking come on. Yeah. That's all I said.
Yeah.
And I love looking at the live feed because every time I swear it just goes asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. Fuck. That's the end of another show, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. And, of course, thanks for my good friends in the panel for being here. Thanks, Paul.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jackson.
It's all right. Tough response there.
I might be hurt by that. And thanks, Jack.
No.
Crickets.
Yeah, Jack should be here. Jack. Yeah, there we go.